70 to 80% children don't want to come to school on that day when fitness assessment is done. Because they already know they are not healthy.
Yes.
And they are again proven on a report card. You are obese, your BMI is low, you are not flexible, you are not in strength. Idea is that why this outcome has come? Because something is not got right at the input stage. Now it traveled almost half a month. But I find the motivation part is so high. If required, I've done workout on the airports. I've done wall chair on the airport, push-ups on the airport without bothering who looks at me. Currently, if you look at the fit, you're physically literate, you're fit because you have these abs, you look like this. So it will demotivate so many people who are not able to draw a relationship with that kind of physical stature. Oh, it's too hard for me. But the moment said, no, your participation is equally important, we value it. It's the way you think that impacts more than what you do.
Hi everybody, my name is Aditya and I'm the founder of Fitbuds. When we were all children, we used to enjoy playing. But when we look around, there's so many adults who are not physically active. In fact, 71% of the deaths happening around the world are due to lifestyle diseases. What's going wrong here? There's a concept called physical literacy, which talks about all these problems and issues and tries to build a solution around these. And with me today, we have Mr. Amit Malik, who is the India lead of IPLA, International Physical Literacy Association. And let's see and learn from him about all these problems and all these solutions.
Hi sir, how are you doing? I'm doing very good. I'm happy to be here, sharing my experience on this topic.
The pleasure is all ours, sir. And so let's quickly understand what is physical literacy.
Physical literacy is our relationship with movement and physical activity. It's very simply put. Our relationship with our own movement and physical activity is called physical literacy.
So if I talk about relationship can be positive, negative, neutral.
So, absolutely. So relation can have many dimensions. It's more like if I'm physically active, maybe our relationship is quite strong, intact. Whether it's winter, summer, bad day, hectic day, this relationship continues. This is so important that it finds a way out. A relationship which is medium level. I want to be active, but sometimes not so active because the relationship is not very strong. So I may be missing out few days in a week where I've got the chance to be active. And look at the other side, somebody who doesn't have a good experience and the relationship is quite far. And in that relationship, artist has rightly said that rather than looking at the first person who's already close to relationship, this third person need to make progress on their own. This distance but cannot be close all of a sudden. It will go step by step from here to there, here to there, here to there. So I found this really very profound.
That's a great perspective. And I never thought of it like that, honestly. So even I have been working in physical literacy, this field. But every time I meet you, I get to learn something new. So we all do know and understand that physical activity is very important for everybody. It can be physical health as well as mental health. When we all know that it is good for us, why are we not so... The relationship, why do we not have the best relationship with physical activity?
Very interesting. And there was my question as well that if I do a quiz with any random 1000 people, everybody will answer yes, physical activity is good for that. But still 90% of them are not active anyways. And that's the missing gap which physical literacy try to look at that. It's not just the knowledge. It's not just the knowing. It is the behavioral engagement in physical activity.
What we understand from literacy is the ability to read and write. So, how is the word literacy related to physical literacy? I'll just add one more doubt here that if my relationship is good, I am literate with movement. If my relationship with movement is not good, am I physically illiterate?
Okay, it's interesting to look at it. Now, this definition of literacy is from the India side.
Okay.
When we were trying to have more literacy all over India. To simplify it, children should be able to do basic mathematical calculation, read and write, so they have a literacy, basic foundation literacy. Physical literacy considers the definition of literacy from the United Nations.
Okay.
And the definition is that it is how we interact with the environment around us and make a meaning of the environment. For instance, a child going to school is new in this world. They want to make interaction with the environment. How does this glass look like? Oh, this water. What will happen if I pour the water? What will happen if I balance the water? So this is the way we try to understand the world around us. So their literacy is more around that, to ability to analyze, interact, interpret the environment and make a meaningful interaction with them. And like every relationship which you have in your life as well, relationship doesn't have a stamp of achieved. Relationship evolves.
Like a
Like a journey, it goes up, goes down with your family, with your friend, with your career journey. So same way, it was thought that there's no end state to it. If somebody who's already, say, active for 2 hours trying different thing, after say 6 months, that person may be demotivated as well one day. That I'm doing same things over and over. Maybe I need to find something else.
That happens to most people who start doing things for health, as in they start going to a gym for a cause.
Yeah. And then just to complete that, so there is a physical literacy is a journey. It's a lifelong journey from birth till death. And since the journey keep on evolving, sometimes goes up, sometimes goes down. It has break, it has slowed down, like your any other journey which you'll have, emotion journey, relationship journey. So there's no end state to it. It's more about having the journey more fulfilling, you evolving in your unique journey. And that is primarily not to label people. Currently, if you look at the fit, you're physically literate, you're fit because you have these abs, you look like this. So it will demotivate so many people who are not able to draw a relationship with that kind of physical stature. Oh, it's too far from me. But the moment say, no, your participation is equally important, we value it. As important as a sports person or bodybuilder is.
So you very nicely mentioned how a very small child builds understanding of the environment, is very keeps experimenting, exploring at every stage. So if I may request you to just share 3 to 4 stages of life of any individual and how the person interacts with the environment.
So again, it varies from person to person, but broadly we want to make first exploration in natural way. What is this? So exploration will always throughout life as well. Is that the proportion keeps getting less and less as we start forming opinion around it. So one is exploration part for sure. Second part, I look at more of the enjoyment part. That I explore 10 things in this any environment. Maybe I went to a park and I say, I like this slider quite a lot. It's quite interesting. I feel good, that joy of feeling air inside. So that become more experience and enjoyment part because I want to do it again. And after that, probably I look at that when they want to engage. I want to now fully engage. I want to go for, say, your community session by Fit Kids because I want to be engaged for on it. It's really exciting. And then probably there could be stage when people want to excel in specific chosen areas of their interest. So I would still think that is exploration, enjoyment, or experiencing them, engagement, and maybe excel. But this is not sequential. I may be doing excel in say badminton, but still exploring maybe CrossFit as a new thing.
Interesting.
You could be excelling in CrossFit, but still try to explore. I want to play. How does it feel to play tennis? For exploring that.
That's very true. I was thinking of learning tennis because I played it with friends, but I've never learned the nuances of tennis. So that was my thought. I don't know how to read my cards.
But this is the way it has to be looked at. That everybody will be making this process. But if you look at the structural part of it, generally suppose, and then look at from your journey. First of all, we are exposed to exploration and maybe a pre-structured environment. In a way, I were to watch a tennis match. Oh, how ball flies. Cricket, how six is it? Goes out of... There's some imagination built. When you hit the bat, ball flies. Oh my God, ball flies. Bat is so powerful, so powerful. So pre-structural part, you create some imagery. Okay, let me go home and try this thing. Then you learn skill in isolation. In a way, I could learn, I'm got very fascinated, I want to run on one leg, for instance, or I want to hit a cricket shot. It's a unistructural part. Then you go multi-structural. I have learned running, I learned batting, and now I want to play cricket. So that becomes multi-structural environment. And then you go to a more analytical application. What shot to play with what ball? Wow. And then maybe you take cricket skill, a 12-year-old child who has undergone, say I'm just in cricket was an interest, and child has first been exposed to watching cricket match, then child put imagery of the cricket, child tried something, learned cricket, also played same, say under 13 tournament, and child family shift to US. All of a sudden there's a game called baseball. And child need to switch. And child use the cricket learning of India to switch to baseball. It's like you had the abstract understanding. You use the wisdom learned through cricket, shift to something else. So this is the way, from the structural point of view, like if you want the generally education point of view, how the learning should happen.
Yeah.
Pre-structural, unistructural, multi-structural, analytical, and maybe a wisdom or abstract level understanding.
If we very simply put it, are we talking about motor skills here?
So for instance, I use the word motor skill, the terminology which is called the movement vocabulary.
Wonderful.
I know Hindi words 100, I know Hindi, Punjabi word 100, English words 100. Same with French, German language. Same way, what is my vocabulary of the movement? I could be staying in a coastal belt where my daily activity involved going to sea, maybe catching fish, running on the sand, playing more boat games. That fascination will come naturally to me. But look at somebody staying in a hilly area. That person will have to walk up the hills, manage balance. So they will be exposed to some of the vocabulary of the movement in their environment. But it doesn't stop the opportunity which you can create. So it's more about environment, yes, environment, geography, or even culture has a role to play here. So those cultural advancement, culture will also add to what vocabulary they learn.
So wonderful. Like we live in different geographies and we pick the language or the vocabulary of different locations. Similarly, our physical literacy journey picks from our surroundings, and someone who is from place A their learning, their physical literacy journey may differ from someone who is in location B. Very interesting perspective.
And this is like what nature gives to them.
Right.
So for instance, an urban staying child is growing up in an apartment. So they would hardly get the opportunity to get up to the tree and jump from there. Or get to small pond and jump into the pond. But they might get different opportunities. So this is the way to look at that. Whatever they are given opportunity with, they typically pick up growth through those opportunities.
Very interesting. So we just touched upon that, how a journey builds from early childhood to later stages when they are seeing more and trying to replicate the same thing, and also adding their own wisdom to how things can be experimented. Let's learn about a physical literacy journey of any individual through maybe your physical literacy journey.
So, initial journey for me was a very positive environment at my family, especially my father. We used to play multiple games. That gave me confidence to move out of home to the street. That was my upgradation. Now I can go and play gilli danda outside because that family environment was quite active. And same way when I used to go to my relatives, everywhere there used to be a lot of free play opportunity. You try this game. Where there's a marriage function is happening, parallelly we are playing. So my family initial environment was very, very important. And that gave me all four components. Give me motivation, confidence to try things, physical competence, knowledge and understanding. These are the four components of the physical literacy that in my journey, these four components keep on evolving and kind of refueling my earlier journey. This component keep on developing and furthering. It's a cyclic process. So from there, went to school, played multiple sports, but at one time I got really full-time into academics. 9 to 10 board exam. I was the topper in my school, so a lot of expectation from the school to get the state rank. And kind of I dropped a lot in that side. And additionally I had the tonsil, so I went to a stage where I had very low self-esteem about my body. I was very low on confidence. Used to struggle to find motivation because there was academic pressure. And when I used to go to the ground again, I used to feel that now I'm not good in cricket, so they're not taking me that thing. I used to come back. But my Mamaji, who's a psychologist, he really helped me to look at sports. He was very fond of sports and used to give me a lot of challenge. So he kind of gave me perspective that it's the way you think that impacts more than what you do. And I remember in winters of Delhi in December, he said that, do you feel that you're not confident at your sport? Wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, go without sweaters in December and give a headbutt to football and the fog. So you go in the fog, give a headbutt to fog that I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of this winter.
You did that?
I did that.
Once, or you did that?
Multiple times, but it started giving me a different self-talk. My self-talk was getting, not strong enough. How will I face this winter game? I'll again get fever. I'll miss my classes. I need to get exam. This was the cyclic talk. All of a sudden, I go headbutt to winter. Winter needs to go back. I'll not go back. And from then onward, it has been evolving with multiple phases. But I still say the initial part very good. The motivation, confidence, competence, knowledge, all were very good. In between, tough time. Went through teenage body image issue, competence issue. Feel that I'm not one of them. My identity is not a sports person. I'm a studious guy. I'm getting it backtracked through a lot of self-journey evolution, which even my parents don't know that I used to do it alone at my home, lifting cylinder, anything just to prove that I'm strong. I'll not back out. Now I travel almost half a month. But I find the motivation part is so high. If required, I've done workout on the airports. I've done wall chair on the airport, push-ups on the airport without bothering who looks at me. I've done walking on the airports. Wow. If you get sleepless, how to adjust it. So it's just so much motivation.
In the fog, in the winters, giving a headshot to the wind has changed your confidence levels, that you don't care who's watching you. You need to get your workout done in the morning. Even if you're in the airport, you do it.
Yeah, I think that was quite life-changing thought process. So it was looking from the psychology route to the body. In a way, I never used to look forward to it. It was more around school. After school, you can play with your friends. It's much more fascinating. I would say my learning happened a lot more through outside peak than in peak.
Very interesting. So if we talk about the physical education that we have in the schools currently, where unfortunately we have just one PE class in most of the schools throughout the week, just like 30-40 minutes to play in a 5-day or a 6-day working school, which is less. So can you help me understand, because you have worked with a lot of schools, a lot of PE teachers, what is the scenario of physical education here in India?
So in the physical education landscape, it is always been seen as a feeder to elite sports. Physical education should match to sports. To create more champion, we need a grassroots physical education.
But that is needed because
That's exactly.
how would the country get more goals in Olympics? Through physical education.
So, in a way, that perspective limits the whole approach of physical education. Just to give a simple corollary, in education, what is the goal? Goal is every child should score good across all subjects, then they progress. The goal in the 5th standard is not to make them IIT topper or the AIMS topper. But we want them to build good concept of biology, mathematics, history, geography, language, so that as per their interest, they can find till after 10th and after 12th, they can be more specialized in that sense. And when we look at that less than, as you already said, that it's so good to see children excelling. It really fascinates for any coach. It's natural. But at the same time, when you look at the lens of the experience of the others, like I gone through lack of confidence and say, it's not for me. It's for those 10% who are already good. So by virtue of that, our society is now 90% inactive. That itself is a real proof that the way physical education typically has been seen. But in the recent year, as we have seen some progress, that for me personally, physical education is an opportunity. Within the school education, if a good structured learning environment can be given to all the children, so that they progress, they learn few things in the class, take their learning to the friends, to the community, to the families, to the local events. So physical education is more of a improve that relationship for me. Get 1 class, 2 class, 3 class.
I'll just bring the conversation back to when you said that. Just like mathematics and other subjects, the goal is that every child learns, and the goal at grade 5 is not that the child becomes a topper and maybe brings laurels to the school. Similarly, for physical education also, the goal, do you mean to say, is that every child should grow at that point of time, should get proper physical education, and it should not be focused on elite athlete development so that they can bring more laurels to the school or to the country. Every child is equally important.
Exactly. This is the way I look at it. Let's look at suppose education. In a school environment, if a mathematics teacher, there are 30 children in front of me, I'll try to ensure that each one improves and scores because there's stake in it. All the children. My result is how many children pass the exam.
And that is missing in physical education.
In physical education, it is seen more like a maths tuition to 10 children who want to top the exam.
And what happens to the rest 20?
So in a way, we brought the mathematics tuition model into physical education. And even tuition, somebody is not good in maths will go to extra class of the math. Here, somebody is already good is taken for extra classes. So the distance is even more or
because there is assessment for maths where they have to pass the exam.
yeah.
But in physical education, if someone is lacking, motivation is not there to even do the minimum bit to at least pass a test or something. As in, when a child is left out, there is no way to scan who is left out and who is not performing. The entire focus goes on the best performers.
Yeah. So in a way, I still feel that with the school, sports education, sport for performance can be a separate agenda in itself, which is focused like there are the clubs. There's art club, there's a dance performer. Every school has all these children who want to pursue more serious aspiration in those areas. Absolutely fine. But when it is education, we call it right to education is for every child. It's a very simple right to education also means right to physical education for all. It's not just for few. And ensure that last child in the class also makes progress in his or her journey. And as you rightly said that mathematics could have this marks assessment. In physical literacy, a simple assessment that how many children are motivated to participate in physical activities.
So, are we talking about the model where every child gets equal opportunity
Yes.
in physical education is the crux of physical literacy? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, and within that, activities as per their abilities.
So, no benchmarking or standardization.
Because each one is different. So if suppose two of us are made to do a fitness test or say a Fit India test, you could be good in two things, I will be doing good in two things. The moment you label it, that you are not fit, my interest in that could come down because this is the way it is. And I'm telling from experience of talking to a lot of children, even urban children, 70 to 80% children don't want to come to school on that day when fitness assessment is done. Because they already know they are not healthy.
Yes.
And they are again proven on a report card. You are obese, your BMI is low, you are not flexible, you are not in strength. Idea is that why this outcome has come because something is not got right at the input stage.
But we often hear that sports, one of the benefits of sports is to build motivation.
Yeah.
But what we're talking right now, it seems like if 80% of kids don't want to come for an assessment, it's more of demotivation.
It's more of demotivation.
So, is it okay to say that the way physical education is, it needs a reform maybe that...
It will just shift. First, I say, I look at 4-level shift. What is shift of the goal? What is goal?
And what is the
Inclusive, realistic, physical education, good experience of physical activity for each child. Goal shift.
So inclusive would mean not for the elite.
Everyone. Realistic means from their own levels. If I run 100 meter, I can run 10 meters. Somebody run 400 meters, they can run 450 meters.
So do we want them to be given as per their abilities, goals or tasks?
As per their
abilities.
I think other way to look at it, when we look at children, rather than looking at to give, say, what will make them progress through a good experience of physical activity? The tone has to be, how do I empower my children? Not how do I make do. Make do will just focus on what? Do 10 squat, do this. And the mind is always looking at them as some body, some objects. Also ensures that 100 children will go to swimming, 10 minute frightening experience I may die. Somebody is so amazing, I feel like I'm part of water. Somebody is very technical. So those self-talk experiences are the most important clues for us to getting them stick to it.
The feeling.
So in a way, the terminology part which I will propose is that how do we empower child to be more self-motivated to be active? That's the goal we want to reach. What do we need to give them? Okay, we tried this 5 kind of motivation. We tried this. These are the areas the child is more confident. If he or she is more confident, start from there. Because we want them to be independently building their own, what we call the disposition to be active, their own attitude to be active. And in that, we don't focus on doing, we focus on empowering, enriching their life through experiences. And if, success of after 10th grade should be how many child, like science, will not forget science concept, will not forget how to speak Hindi or English. How many child will continue physical activities when they leave the school gate at 10th grade for life? That will be a success of physical education.
So if I may say, if the curriculum of physical education has to be changed or maybe take some inspiration from the concepts of physical literacy, can you suggest some easy actionables that people can follow, that the schools can follow to do better?
Sure. So first, I said that it has to be the shifting of the goalpost from looking at few to inclusive realistic goal of physical literacy. And that would be very simple assessment, self-assessment actually. child writing, how much I'm motivated to be active every day, how much I'm confident to be activities in different activities I pursue. Do I have adequate knowledge and understanding of physical activities benefit for me? And I feel competent to try different activities. Very simple self-assessment. Because until we understand where the root cause is, it's difficult. Second is the curriculum part. We discover the movement vocabulary, and this concept called the movement capacities, the capacity of the different movement which you learned in the younger time. So in primary years, focus putting more on the movement vocabulary through exploration and enjoyment route in the curriculum.
Can I say movement vocabulary is like stand, sit, pull, push, throw, jump,
Kind of.
lunge?
Yeah.
These are the
Anything which you need to do on a daily basis. So,
clap, jump, all these
yeah, these are some of the examples.
exactly.
Let's assume that vocabulary cannot be restricted.
Correct.
It can be different environment. But these are some smaller.
And we also discussed that it can be different in different geographies.
And so one is that movement vocabulary part. Then the creating more variety. And physical literacy curriculum approach as the 6 movement forms. Aesthetic and expressive movement form are based on dance, culture, goal that each person should be graceful in the movement. They should be graceful in the communication. They should communicate with the all body and face together. Aesthetic and expressive. Second is your adventure movement, which is like risk taking. Yes, have I done it before? To bring more enterprising mindset of the young people, because it is more adventurous by design. Third is athletic movement form, which is all the jump, run, throw, because that helps you find potential which is inside. How fast you can run when you start running after 6 months. This fast enough inside me to bring the potential out. It is inside potential. There is a health and fitness, which is around the various movement forms, sleep, nutrition, those aspects called health and fitness form. There's a competitive movement form, which is like competitive games. And last is social and interactive, which could be Bhangra dance, Gita dance, Navratra dance, where the society interacts and they interact through movements. And this is to build the social aspect. So in a way, all these movement forms are not just from the physical part. They should do dance. And why dance? Because dance is more expressive, rhythm. You express in a different form. Competitive, getting your best effort out. You want to give your best. So in a way, these movement forms pretty much linked to your 21st century skills only.
Okay.
Social communication, coordinating, because the movement form is a variety which can be added in the curriculum. And the third aspect, which is not much touched, is the pedagogical aspect. Typically across most of the states in India, we have seen that the teaching is I stand, I tell you to. Very command-centric method. So there's there are more learner-centric teaching approaches. As simple as that, okay, you play this game, you play this game. Other approach, take a ball, you take a football, you take a paper, create a game, come back with the game. All of it onus is them to think now cognitive. That will lead to critical thinking. Otherwise,
Go to
just
the
memorize.
play side.
Not free play, is a teaching strategies different. So there are a lot of teaching strategies, starting from command till the learner initiated. There are these teaching strategies which are very much lacking in this area of physical education, because our delivery has been very regimented. You're not compromising the learning.
Inspired from the military or the army, that if you are doing exercises or health or fitness, it has to be like this, and you have to stand in a straight line, and discipline is the key. Oh, wonderful. I just figured it out. Enjoyment or fun is the key. Discipline can be a byproduct, but discipline
Will be self-discipline, self-interest and self-discipline. If I'm interested,
intrinsic
intrinsic.
motivation to be disciplined. so that the game or whatever the class is doing can be done in the right way, right spirit.
Yeah. And so this is right that currently, a simple example. If I want to teach a table tennis spin, I say, come here, I'll teach you forehand spin. This is the way hold the racket and do it. Second is, what is spin? I would try to spin with the racket. Go, just have balls, try all possible spin which you can do from the forehand. Try and see where the ball goes. So all of a sudden this is become more exploration because now they have their stake into it. So you still don't compromise the learner. Is idea about that rather than only looking at me doing it, which is also fine when you want to correct. It's nothing wrong in it. But the teaching strategies are not really discussed in the beginning. It is a very command and teacher centric, which turns up a lot of people, especially in the classroom. They don't find engagement there.
So if I want to discuss how much of an impact this can create your journey, your relationship with movement, your physical literacy journey, the motivation that you find in movement or play, how much can it lead to later stages of life?
Answer can be really transformative. There was some research that this movement experience by age of 12, 13 really impacts your lifelong activity and also delay in your lifestyle diseases. This was a research. And this just ensure that they can always come back as well. If more children are deprived of such positive experiences, so they feel, okay, my identity is not in that, I'll actually keep away. But if everybody has gone through that positive experience, they've made some progress, is there a belief that given a choice, I can make progress in any activity? There could still be breaks, dropouts, which as simple as, for instance, a female getting pregnant. They will never take a pregnancy, bring a more different movement style. But since they're done it, they can come back. If they were doing aerobics before, come back maybe after a year of maternity and say, because I had done it before. I hope it's
So you think
not complicated.
that is one of the reasons why, like we discussed in the beginning, most adults who know what is right for them,
Yeah.
it's important to do your workouts or to move more and eat healthy and take care of your body. This is something where the relationship
Yeah.
with their body, with their surroundings, with their movement, it gets like the relationship goes bad.
Yeah, it's not smoothly moving. It needs to be reinitiated in some ways.
And if we talk about elements that cause this gap, it's about the comparison or the
Could be
eyes of the society that you are not good at it. It can be our own inhibition that we are not good at it, we are being judged.
Yeah.
So how does one fight? Maybe you fought it through a journey that your uncle helped you with, but otherwise, how does a regular person, if anyone who's listening to this podcast, how does that person take a step one in overcoming the fear of being judged or enjoy what he's doing?
So I think first is to look at identity differently. A lot of times self-identity, self-talk is, I'm not active until two, but not able to do it. So first is looking at self-reflection through this physical literacy questionnaire. Am I the one who's really motivated to activity? And this is really just self-assessment. I'm confident in different physical activities. What activities I'm confident at? What activities I feel competent at? Do you have enough knowledge and understanding? And knowledge and understanding is not knowing, but understanding. In a way, when I do yoga in the morning, I feel very calm throughout. That is understanding. You have lived through the experience.
Interesting.
When I do lower body workout, my chair posture is very good because I know it. And then looking at where the journey left, where it will start again. A very simple example, there was a Muslim girl I had interviewed in a college. I was discussing on her physical literacy, and I don't really, very low confidence. I don't want to talk about it. I said, what were you doing when you were in school? I was playing Kho. Okay. And whom I used to play with? My friends. Then what happened? What happened to your Kho journey? My math teacher slapped me. He said, if you might fail in math, I am not allowed you to play again. And said, what happened then? I proved him wrong. From that day till now, I'm topping in every math exam. I want to prove a message to him. Just look at how simply these journeys are broken by society itself. And then I said, what if I call your school friends again, arrange a day out, and you play Kho? You start crying. I can say cry, but there was so much power because you have not respected those journeys. Journey was left because with the friends you used to enjoy, just restart the journey from there, understand the journey as left. Otherwise, I could have labeled, she's inactive, not responding girl in an engineering college. She doesn't want to participate. So everybody can look at that journey very differently, that where the journey was left, how to restart that journey again. And self-assessment could be one way. Especially knowledge, understanding and competence could come later, but initial motivation, confidence is important. And from there, you're going to look at what has worked for you. Say, for instance, there are people who say, in the past, social circle works for me. If I'm a part of runner group, it could work better than I go alone. Right? Fair enough. You build those motivation a little bit more because you know yourself much better. So rather than looking at, I'm not doing physical activity, where I can make progress. One step more, one walk to the market more, one time play with the children more, and getting your self-esteem high. I want to be active and can be.
So it's never too late to pick the journey up, see what motivates you, find that thing that you like to do, and keep doing it, and keep exploring more.
Exactly, create a positive environment. Simply put, when any journey will have influencers, math teacher was negative influencer for that girl, there is positive and negative influencer. There will be events and there will be experiences. Very simple. In a life there are events, there are influencers, there is some experience which will be created. So as long as these three are well taken care, the child gets to attend your class, but they are say, now Ratri celebration 10 years back and they want to dance. They want to enjoy, run around the stalls, event created. And everybody says, yes, you look so good, you're running. Everybody should run, let's do something together. So influencer, event experience, very simple cycle actually. But anything can stop as well. One bad experience like that, so why are you running? You're only supposed to do CrossFit, not the Navratri dance. It's not good for you. Stops. Again, experience could stop. So yeah, that's the way we need to respect journey. And more importantly, valuing human life. We as a flower can flourish, it can blossom through our existence, body's existence. And she used the word that whenever you were born, you kicked in your mother's warmth. You still need to prove it more important that physical literacy is important. Because we are designed to grow.
That's true. And mostly, I've read about the last 10 years of your life. And it's pretty much in our hands. We cannot guarantee it, but it's pretty much in our hands.
Yeah.
So, thank you for the lovely insights.
Thank you.
And I hope our listeners, even if they can change 1% of their lifestyle, take some motivation from this podcast, I think our effort will be like, it will pay us back, right?
Sure, best of luck. Hopefully they enjoy the discussion.
So that was Mr. Amit Malik for you, the India-Lead of IPLA, International Physical Literacy Association. And the last thing that I would want to say to everybody is that move more, move even more, because that is what we're born for. Right?
Just to add, celebrate every moment.
Wow, that's amazing. Also, okay, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you.